retard, retard, retard.
And there we are. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing good. Lee, hello to you. Mark, hello. Eagle Motion, nice to see you too. Emil, hi. Cloak1, hi. And Ayush, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Hey, Danny. You will hear it in my voice. I'm doing okay, but I still got a cough, and so I do apologize if I do cough from time to time, and I'm not unable to get the microphone muted in time. And Michael, how you doing? Seed, hi. Yeah, so hey Jim. Yeah, so for those that already saw the message in my Discord, I did get COVID. I tested positive on Sunday, so yeah. The first 2 days were absolutely horrible. Not joking. Felt really tired. Headache. Everything ached in the body, and fever. Yeah, it was not nice. But now it's getting better. It's just continuous, cough from time to time. And although one thing I feel is still not very energetic, so that's why I will be starting out today's stream with one flight to see how I cope with that. And then on Friday, yeah. So on Friday we'll do another stream, and then hopefully Friday we'll get back to a normal kind of 5-hour stream. Hey, Jim, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I had a great time with them. Yeah. They are such cool guys. Yeah, really cool. Lee, dankeschön. Yeah. Right. So yeah, there's some things happening in the aviation world, or not just aviation world, but in the flight sim world. So the SU-10 has gone into beta, and from what I've been seeing from videos, that DLSS function seems to be working quite nicely. So people are reporting some good FPS boosts, and I am hoping that with the DLSS, I may get finally a steady above 60 FPS, which then means I could try to stream in 60 FPS. But we'll see. Yeah, I'm not sure. Is that scratched or is it just kind of dirty? Sometimes when it's a bit dusty outside or something, it's not scratched necessarily. It could just be dirty. Oh, really? So Singapore's your dream airport to work after graduation? Nice. Yeah, Singapore Airport. I mean, it doesn't need to be said, really. Singapore Airport is literally the best airport, really, to go and fly from or, connect through. Absolutely brilliant airport. I've been here many, many times on duty, but also private travels, because my parents used to live in Malaysia for a while. And so, yeah, whenever we could, we visited them, and we flew quite often connected through Singapore. So, and my brother still lives in Singapore with his wife and children, but they're actually moving back to Switzerland soon. So, hey, Adrico, hola, hola. ¿Cómo estás? And Voyager, moin. Game service, seriously, what? Game service is not working or what? How weird. Hey. Hold on, let me just...
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box YouTube channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Lekker Yoda coming in. Yoda, thank you so much for your 6 months and a half year. And it's broken. I said 5 months says 3. No, it says 6. I don't know why it says 3 for you, but it's on my screen it says 6. Oh, and Mark, can you do me a favor? Can you change the overlay, Microsoft Flight Sim, the FENIX, please? Oh, there we go. So it's just as I'm telling him. Yeah. So Yoda, thank you so much, and also Yoda, at this point, once again, thank you so much for your continued support regarding our DCS section. And for those that do flight in DCS. Yeah, we're starting out DCS again this Sunday evening. But it's not going to be streamed. It's going to be offline. But we're going back into our missions. Finally, people will say. Looking forward to it. Right. Who else have I missed? Yeah, yeah, it is. My energy level are still not what they are pre-COVID, so we'll see. Giving you a quick look at the routing. So, starting out Singapore, we're going to be flying by Malacca, Kuala Lumpur, and then we've got a little bit of weather en route. Sorry, we've got a little bit of weather en route, and then going into Phuket. It's going to be an approach into runway, I think it's 28 or something. We'll see in a minute. And yeah, we've got rain ban coming in. I remember we did a holiday here, my wife and me. It was on an island somewhere. I think it was here. Very nice. Very beautiful. Hey, Avenger, how you doing? Right, yeah, so that's the idea. We'll see what Microsoft makes with the weather. It'll be interesting to see. Definitely some thunderstorms, quite typical in this region en route. But there we go. Right. Cool, let's get this started. Okay, so, well, I mean, the thing is this. So a shallower glide slope is not really such a big deal, in my opinion, compared to a steep approach. So when you're doing a shallow approach, let's say 2.8 degrees, you may actually consider doing a config 3 approach. I mean, that would definitely help, just get engine power down a bit. But yeah, there's no real, difficulty in 2.8 degrees. Yeah, I know. That is just because the sun is just kind of, yeah, reflecting on the dirt there. Actually, I'm using flying Boeing when shifted to Airbus doing takeoff. There, some error comes up. Error called flight control. Oh yeah, flight control pitch trim disagree. I put the correct rate was sort of the same. What, in the FENIX or where? Seed. Yeah, that weather radar return, that is a bit weird. But, to be honest, it could be... Well, it could be a glitch. Yeah, it is a glitch. That's not a cloud, is it? Yeah, I would see that as a glitch as well. Yeah, so the preparations in the Airbus, you need to follow that quite closely. If you don't enter the data correctly into the MCDU, yeah, you are probably going to get an error somewhere along the way. So you need to make sure that you very, very carefully put all the data in. Hey, Fly Lido, how are you doing? Yeah, okay, I know what you mean. So if it's a ECAM warning in here, something with flight control, that is a bug in the FENIX, correct? But he's writing a trim thingy, so pitch trim disagree. Pitch trim disagree. So if it's a trim disagree, it would mean that your trim setting that you've selected with the after start flows does not correspond to the trim settings you find here on the fuel prediction page. But we'll go through the preparations in a minute. Let me just call up everything here, and let's just any chance of doing RTO? Yeah, I tell you what we'll do. When we landed in Phuket, and we've reached a parking position, switch off the aircraft, I'll reposition the aircraft again for takeoff in Phuket, and now we can do an RTO. So that's that. Let me just go into settings here really quickly. It's a new livery, so I may need to sim settings. Yeah, so I talked about it at the beginning, Lilo. Yeah, so people are reporting with the DLSS function. They're reporting some nice improvements with the performance. That could go off. That is fine. Controls linked. Good. All right. So save. There we go. 22 minutes to go. That should be fine. Let me go mass and balance first of all. No, I'm not using the beta aviator. No. I have, to be honest, I am just worried that if I install something like a beta here and then something goes wrong, it's just a mess to get it, back to the previous version. My download rate just isn't quick enough. Hey Andreas, how you doing? Apparently yes. So Emil, there was a video out today somewhere. I think it's called VR Flight Sim Guy. He did test the DLSS with the Pimax 8KX or something, and he's reporting some great performance boost. Yes, we are on live weather. No, we're not. Yes, we're on live weather now. So, there we go. Let's go load aircraft. I'm going to do this fast time. Actually, no, let's do real time. There we go. That should work. That's all opening. Fantastic. Good. Right. So let's look at the weather, and oh, actually, I did want to go on VATSIM, didn't I? I'm not sure if anybody wants to fly along. Hey, Kitman, how you doing? There we go. Just saying, maybe someone wants to fly along. Maybe Kitman wants to fly along. So let me go get connected on VATSIM. But before I do, I need to. There we go. Charlie 26, lovely. Hang on, let me just file the flight plan with VATSIM, and then I'll be with you. Voyager, I am. Thank you for the reminder, Voyager. Very kind of you. If you're loading the aircraft, will it adjust the weight and balance of the sim automatically? Yes, it does. So what it will try to achieve is a CG around about 30. So as you see, as the loading continues with the fueling and the passenger loading, cargo loading, that CG shifts as it increases. So what time is it? It's 17:11. So let's do 17:40. 17:40 off block. 340 files a flight plan. Now we are called. Is it Scoot? Is it the call sign Scoot as well? Tango Golf Whiskey. Kind of weird name. 658. I know it's a real world flight. Good. So we are connected. Let's check. There we go. I think, who knows? Is that Charlie? Is that Charlie 26? Oh, Charlie 20. Yeah, there he is. That's Kipman. Yeah, fantastic. Here's Kipman. I already saw some aircraft flying towards Phuket, so we're not the only ones on the routing. There's another aircraft. Oh, there's several aircraft here. Or are these static? No, they are actually. Oh, they are static, aren't they? Yeah, they are static. Scooter. Okay, thanks, Eagle Motion. Yeah, fantastic. So there we go. All right, loading's ongoing. Fantastic. Good. Let's continue now in the MCU if I find the button. So we are. Let me just get my flight plan. So the added gusts. Okay, nice. Yeah. So we'll see. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing the improvements in SU10. Also excited to hear about the improvements with the FENIX. So they are about to release a new version. So we'll see how that improves stuff. Tango Golf Whiskey. Tango Golf Whiskey 658. There we go. So cost next supposed to be 11 for whatever reason. 11, level 340. And I would imagine the weather up there is... Oh, I've got to show you something nice. I've actually laminated that new checklist. So I've got the new checklist on this page. On the back of the page, I've got the briefing, so departure briefing and the arrival briefing. Is there any interest for you guys? Shall I put a PDF file up on my Discord so you can double print that as well? 340 at -40. Okay, yeah. All right, I will do so. Yeah. Alrighty, I will do so. Yeah, Avenger. Yeah, because laminated. Yeah, of course. Coffee and orange juice. No, Airbus fan. I'm not in the beta team anymore, Airbus fan. I left them. And not because I'm cross with them or anything, simply because I just do not have the time. I do not have the time anymore to participate in a level. So good. We're expecting 59.7. Actually, let's go at Suhir. Airbus fan, how are you doing? Yeah, I was shocked to hear about the attack in that shopping center. Was it 2 weeks ago? So preliminary load sheet 59.7, and the block fuel is about 6.5. At 6.5 is good. All right, 6.5. And as always, we check our alternate, which is called Surat Thani. Surat Thani, 25 degrees. They're expecting some wind gusts and some rain, however, all within limits, so nothing major. And Phuket, and here's the forecast with the rain, and we just saw that on the weather radar, didn't we? If you go to the live map. Yeah, we can see that rain just coming in now. So it should actually be raining now in Phuket. Yeah, it's always shocking because you know, when I travel to these cities, so be it Oslo, you know, Stockholm, Copenhagen, yeah, you know, I have a good relation and a good kind of feel for the people and yeah, the location and so on. So I kind of have a connection to that whenever something like that happens. Oh yeah, you're right. How was your sailing then, Airbus fan? Sounds exciting. A Viking ship. Have you got some pictures, Airbus fan? Can you maybe post them, send me PM or yeah, I'd love to see what the ship looks like. Good. So we've got 6.5, and the alternate fuel is going to be 1.2 rounded up. So let's put 1.2 in the alternate fuel, and now we can see the fuel adjusts correctly to about 24 minutes extra. Okay, Airbus fan, thank you. There we go. Yeah, Mark, I wish I could laminate everything and send it off. Yeah. Sure. Where do I find a time for that? Good database still. So in the A page and the B page, let's do the flight plan page. So there's no center open right now, and the wind here is currently. Why is the there we go. So we got southerly winds 190 at 3. So we're going to take 20 for takeoff. 20 right for takeoff. Yeah. Yeah. Imagine having the cockpit being laminated. It's going to be a Rosa for Foxtrot. A Rosa actually. A Rosa for Foxtrot departure. Hey Diego, nice. How you doing? And then we're going to do the arrival into Phuket. Let's pretend the ILS is off the air today. It's quite often in summertime they will do maintenance work on the ILS. So it's not uncommon to actually have the ILS off the air. So we're going to choose the RNF approach. And we're going to do this via the Urgat 1 Delta. I don't know what it is. I have a feeling that Urgat is also fixed somewhere in Europe, because it does ring a bell. So let's see. That's via. Huh? What? Hold on. No. So Christopher. No. To be honest. I know that some people love the fact, or the idea of having a, very close to reality kind of setup with the A320, but was it $1,200 plus shipping or something? And I'm hearing mixed kind of reviews on those for that price. So quality wise, and I just don't see that happening. And to be honest, I don't know where to put that. I don't have room for that. Arrival, let's do this one here. So it's going to be the Urgat 1 Delta, and it's going to be via Baron. I don't know. What's the other fix they had here? Oh, because of
Welcome
that.
aboard the Captain Black Box
Menu.
YouTube channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin, where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served.
So we're going to use no via, because that way it should lead us onto the right approach path. Hey Diego, thank you so much, Diego, for your 2 months now. Give a round of applause for that. Thank you so much, Diego. And he writes, hello, Black Box, 2 months already. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, my COVID is getting better now. Thank you much for asking. And thank you for all the best wishes people have been sending me over Discord. Guys, thank you so much for that. What rudder pedals do you recommend me? I have... okay, so I know the TPR. People have been... I never tried the TPR from Thrustmaster, Diego. But I've heard people report that they're actually quite happy with them. So I've not heard anything... negative from that side. Personally, the best rudder pedals that I have been using are the MFG Crosswinds. I'm in no way sponsored by them, so this is just a complete honest answer. There we go. So that's the arrival to Baron and then onto the RNF. So yeah, I'm actually quite pleased with the MFG Crosswinds. Christopher, you said the cheaper one without trim wheels, if about $600. Yeah, but still, I don't know. Yeah. So here's the thing. So Christopher, look at it this way. So right now I'm using the Bravo quadrant. I'm not sponsored by them either, right? So Honeycomb does not sponsor me. I bought this with my own money. The versatility with this, by being able to just, you know, use different throttle sets is actually quite nice. I know it's not, you know, completely one-to-one scale, etc., but it has the functions you expect to have, and it's working. Only thing that's not working right now are these buttons regarding, you know, lights and autopilot buttons, which hopefully the FENIX will be able to connect at some point. But yeah. So I'm actually happy with those, especially when you can use those as well for GA flying, etc. You can put prop lever, mixture lever here as well. So this is much more versatile. I find, you know, when you fly different aircraft types here in the flight sims, I find these kind of hardware solutions better compared to one expensive, you know, just an A320 setup. If you solely fly A320, well, it may be the right thing for you. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Yeah, Christopher, on that I agree. Yeah, on that I do agree. All right, so we've got the routing, RATNAV for departure. Now, it's an RNAV departure. We don't really need to show you that here now. We don't really need... Oh, actually, we can put Victor Tango Kilo in here. That's on the routing. So, is it... I'm saying RNAV. Yeah, it's RNAV. So, we're going to take 3,000. And we'll check the routing in a second. But Victor Tango Kilo is already pre-dialed. Let's hack that in so it doesn't change. That goes in there. Oh, and those that have been asking about my 747 transition, it's getting more serious in the sense that I'm finally getting some hard data regarding a potential move over. But it's not going to happen this year because they've actually scrapped a lot of transition classes because of capacity reasons. So at the moment, it looks like beginning next year. But I will keep you posted on that. So 3,000 is 3,000. And so we got RATNAV in the B page performance. So let's do the performance calculations. Arthur, well, at the moment, I don't have any other news on that. Yeah, we'll see. If there should be a different offer, I will have a long think about it. Hang on, has the boarding finished? Not yet, has it? Ground services, no mass and balance. Yeah, I'll go back to long haul, yeah. My biggest dream always was, so when I started to become a pilot, my biggest dream was become a 747 captain. That was the ultimate goal. There was no A380 back then when I started flying. So that was my absolute kind of dream vision, being a 747 captain, grey hair, smoking pipe, you know, that sort of character. So yeah, you know, I'm close to being there. Is the fuel panel simulated? No. No, I can show you the outside. Oh, it's a bit laggy, isn't it? What happened? Hold on. There we go. So there's the fuel panel, and there's no click spots there, and there's nothing that you can call up on a panel. A350? No. Yeah, I'll tell you what though. So here's the crazy speculation. A 747 rating may actually be worth quite a lot in a couple of years' time. It's just speculation. Call me stupid, but no, it's not finished boarding yet. But there are still quite a number of 747 freighters flying around the world. And if you follow the developments in that area and see the wages these companies pay 747 captains, well, who knows? Who knows? Maybe I might just you know, leave my company whenever I can leave, and then maybe just fly for someone else for a while. We'll see. Just a crazy thought. Nothing, you know, in the planning yet. Don't worry. But who knows? Things are, as you can see right now in aviation, things are absolutely crazy. God knows what happens. How old am I? I'm actually 50. I'm getting 53 in October. Shocking, right? No, John, no, trust me, I have an A320 rating, so no, John, it's all good. So this is the only panel you find to do the fueling is here. So there is nothing there under the fueling receptacle left or right side. See if they actually have. There we go. So they're supposed to be there. Yeah, there's just a connection there. There's no panel, anything you can dial in. There would be a panel in the cockpit. So on the overt panel, on some versions you may find a fueling panel here. Yeah. So. All right. So that's that. Performance. All right. So getting distracted here. Performance. You fueled in the USA and Delta, and most United has it on the wing. Okay, I've never seen, John. I'll do some research on that, but I've never seen. I'm not saying it's not possible, John. Don't get me wrong. But I've never seen that. A fueling panel. I know the 737 has it, but A320? Nah, I'm not saying it's not. I've never seen that, so that would be a new one for me. I mean, I do live and learn, so I will stand corrected. Where was I? Oh yeah, performance. So departure performance. So we'll use the initial values. So expecting about 67 tons. All right. It's going to be 20 right. Dry at the moment. Optimal config, toga no, anti-ice off, packs on. It's pretty warm here. So it's got 27 degrees still. So let's do one more, 28. How long have I? Yeah, I've been a pilot for a very long time. Did you get higher paid than others on average? Well. Danny, I'll give you a number. I've seen a UPS captain salary at $600,000 a year, but that doesn't top it. I think there was one other carrier in the US. Is it Atlas or something? They are paying tops. Now hold on to your hats. $900,000 a year at the moment, tops. Okay, John. Yeah, cool. All right, there we go. Okay, so yeah, of course, then you would prefer doing that on the fuselage instead of the ladder. Yeah, okay, cool, John. You know what? That's cool. I love these kind of interactions where people actually, you know, will bring on their real-world experience. Actually, yeah, tell me something that I didn't know. Yeah, 600,000. Yeah, Danny. I'll try to see if I can get the pictures because I've got screenshots from the. Yeah. Yeah. The thing exactly. So eventually they are you know they are getting huge amounts of orders. Oh my God. Okay, so the doctor. Thank you so much. I don't know what currency that is. But I thank you so much for your kind support. Is this free super chat? I don't know. So I don't know. What do you mean by free super chat?
Autopilot. Autopilot.
Thank you so much for the support. Now let me just. Oh, it's Indonesia. Okay, nice. All right, yeah. Thanks for the Indonesia. Greetings to Indonesia. How are you doing? And I've been to Indonesia as well, on holiday and also working there as well. Good. So once again, thanks for the support. 100% discount on the first super chat. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know exactly what's going on sometimes with these promotions. So yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot, though. All right. So that would be preliminary performance data. Let me just get the infos for Singapore. So Singapore is going to be NDP 2, so that's fine. We've got about 4,000 meter runway for takeoff. That's good, and the engine out would be 1600 acceleration and track 203 to 15 miles and hold. Okay, the doctor, right? Perfect. Okay. All good. Cool. So let's enter those actually, no, hang on. We got a final load sheet, don't we? Let me just check that again. ATSU, AOC menu, receive messages, load sheet. There we go. So that's the final load sheet. I'm going to enter those values. So someone was asking me right at the beginning regarding the trim setting and so on, and why they would get pitch trim disagree as a warning. So again, Airbus is a clever aircraft. It will compare certain entered values from the MCDU with the physical settings, be it flap lever, be it trim setting, etc., etc. Yeah, Jessica, thank you so much. Yeah, but again, I'm very, very happy for the support. All right, so final weight 59.6 with a trim setting of MAC 0 fuel weight. That's the important one. 0 fuel weight 31.3, and that gives a takeoff weight of 65.9. So we can actually recalculate because the initial calculations were a bit off. Oh, I need to do the wind data, wind request. And then after engine start, when you go to fuel prediction, here's your CG for takeoff. 29.6. You see that corresponds. And the 29.6 will give you a trim, if you look at the trim wheel here, of about down 0.2, I would guess. But that should be given to you in the performance calculator as well. So if we go single load sheet final, and then we'll do the calculation again. There we go. Flaps 2 this time, actually interesting. We'll take that. Down 0.2, flex 68. All right, so those are the values now. Delivery, I got that from flightsim.to. Cool. So we've got flaps 2 down 0.2. Put that in there. 68 flex. I think it was 151. Or 151, 151, 155. And 1600 is going to be the engine out acceleration. That's going to be 1030 as well. Good. Secondary flight plan, we'll copy the active. It was already flaps 2. I don't know. I don't remember the first calculation we did, but yeah, that's fine. So flaps 2 is going to be set later on. So what I'm going to do, in case anything goes wrong and we need to return, we'll put that into new destination here on the secondary plant arrival, and we'll take the ILS 20 center for landing. No star, no via. And the engine up procedure is just straight out. So fix info. Whiskey, Sierra, 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 20 right. Oh, it came, yeah. So you can do that if you want. You can force it to flaps 1. However, since we're flying the Neos, and we've been told if the performance calculator spits out config 2, you should go with that. Apparently, it does save some fuel by going with the optimum from the performance calculator. But again, right, I'm not mimicking any specific operator, so you do whatever you want to do on that. So it's going to be radial 203, and it's about 15 miles. There we go. So, just checking everything again. Constraints, QNH is... just check again. Oh, it doesn't have an actual METAR. Okay, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to use the one from here. So that's giving me 1008. 1008. Perfect. Alrighty. So that's all set. I think we've done all the preparations. Let's start the APU. Kitman, yeah, I'll take full length. You don't have to. If you think that intersection is fine, yeah, go with it. Let me just see if what's on the offer here. Ground charts, airport info, takeoff. Oh, that's Phuket, Changi. There we go. So ground charts. There's a lot of ground charts. Good lord. Airport info, there we go. So, here we are. I'm just wondering. Yeah, I guess Whiskey 3 would be an option. Yeah, all good, Christopher, all good. We'll go in a second. So... all right, we'll do that. So we're going to try intersection data. Oh, it's just giving you full length. Yeah, I don't have any option to do calculations. And since we can't do intersection calculations, you can't take that. Simple as that. So we'll take SID departure. And that was the Rosso 4 Foxtrot. Good. So let's take our briefing concepts, departure briefing. So pilot monitoring will say we'll depart 20 right, full length. SID is the Rosso 4 Foxtrot 20 right. First cleared altitude is 3,000 feet. MSA initially 1,700. Initially it's 2,000, then 1,700, and out of 11 miles it's 3,100. Extra fuel, we have 800 kilograms, which equates to about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Right now with the fuel data doesn't give me any extra, but we have about 800 kilograms. Oh, hopefully that will be fixed soon with the engine model. I hope that's going to be fixed. That would be great. So the pilot flying will now brief the hotspots for taxi out. So hotspots, let's check. Taxi out will be via Papa. Well, so we've got Quebec, Whiskey, is that Whiskey? Oh, Quebec and Whiskey. And then we're going to take Whiskey 1 full length. And there's no hotspots there, nothing to report. Stop margin for the RTO. Don't have that. So we have 4,000 meters. It's completely not critical, so we've got enough stop margin.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box YouTube channel subscriber experience. Could new subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin where complimentary drinks, snacks and premium flight entertainment will be served. Thank you.
Thank you, Emre. Here's a round of applause for you. Thank you so much for 6 months. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm doing better now. So my COVID is under control, I would say. Yeah, not doing too badly now. So thank you so much for all the best wishes. Thanks for the support, Emre. So engine out sit is just straight out, 15 miles. Runway track engine acceleration is in 1,600 feet. Return considerations. We'll do the acceleration 1,600, cleanup. We'll climb 3,000, get radar vectors for an approach to 0 center. There's no non-stun operations. Threats, maybe weather, maybe some thunderstorms en route on the departure route. We'll check the weather radar. Mitigations, well, if there are any storms around the field, we'll carefully check regarding wind shear potential. Maybe recalculate our performance for takeoff if necessary. Right, so cockpit preparation checklist. We've got gear pins, covers removed. Fuel quantity is 6,530 kilograms. Seat belts on. Then we've got the ADIRs. NAF. Baro Ref, we have QNH 1008. And that's the cockpit preparation completed. Before start checklist. Parking brake is set. Takeoff speed thrust. V1 151, VR 151, V2 155, flex 68. Windows closed. The performance is really bad here. I'm surprised. I would guess it's less than 30 FPS at the moment. Is that Singapore so badly performing? Beacon. Let's have a look. Beacon is on, and that's before start checklist completed. And let's put 1 to 2.8 in here. Singapore traffic, the Scoot 658 stand at Charlie 15, pushing back in Singapore. So let me get my up out here. You also have Casapaya. Okay, thanks for the feedback. Yeah. Normally I have good performance everywhere. It's just I've not tried Singapore just yet, so a bit surprised. So let's connect the tug.
Singapore traffic, waiting 652, start, push and start, stand Charlie 2.
The doctor, no, there's no ATC here, unfortunately. Which I'm not surprised. I mean, it's in morning, like 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I would have been very surprised to get service here. So, tow bar connected, release parking brake, brakes released. Let's start the pushback. Oh, there we go. No VIP service. Ooh, the lag, man. So, what's happening? Why can't I push back? Ah, because start. Hang on. Ah, there we go. That's why. Ooh, there's a dark cloud behind us there. Oof. It's 1:46, okay. Yeah, 6 hours at the moment, isn't it? Yeah, right. Hey, Oliver Smith, how you doing? Right, engine start. That could go on as well. And engine number 2 start. You came from the podcast. Nice, Oliver. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. Yeah, sorry for the bad FPS. I don't know why it's actually that bad. And Dujanta, hey, how you doing? Oops, that's not what I wanted. Volume mixer. Oh, you work at Changi? Yeah, I was just saying, I've been to Singapore, Changi many times. Actually working there, or flying there with the 747. And, yeah, great airport. For me personally, it's the best worldwide. Engine 1 starts. Yeah, so once we get airborne, it should get better with the performance. Kilo Bravo Delta Lima. What's that, John? Hey guys, if you find the time, can you just put !ask in front of your question, and that way your question will be saved. Just in case it gets busy now and I miss your questions. Good, so all disconnected. We'll do the after start flows by initiating the after start flows by putting that to normal. That. Flaps 2. Down. Do a flight control check. Hartford, Connecticut. Okay, interesting. That's the alternate for JFK and Boston. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Oh, before I forget, guys. So I do plan to get Restream running for the next stream. So then you can actually watch me on Twitch again as well. Although I'm not officially on Twitch then, so my main account will still be YouTube, but for those that prefer to watch over Twitch, then you can do that there. You got a Lifty A350 long ago, nice. Right, so after start checklist, anti-ice is off, it's warm enough. Ecam status checked, pitch trim. So here's the deal, right? So whoever asked me regarding the pitch trims, so we go fuel prediction, check 29.6 with that marker there, 29.6, right? And that should equal to down 0.2. There we go. So that adds up. And then you should not get any warnings regarding pitch trim setting, right? So 29.6% and the rudder trim, rudder trim is neutral after start checklist completed. Singapore traffic, Scoot 658 is taxiing runway 20 right in Singapore. Yeah, Boston, no, I've not been to Boston. I've been to JFK, I've been to Newark, I've been to Miami, San Francisco, LA. Brake check. Brakes are working. Hey Eternal, how you doing? And Aviator, you asked, are you looking forward to The 747. Yes, I am. Indeed, I am. Yeah. Yeah, Washington, exactly. So I've been to Washington as well, yeah. Absolutely. Oops. There we go. Another scoot taxiing to the active there. Well, I'm slowly recovering, yeah. So, yeah, I've still got a cough, and I do need to sneeze from time to time, but yeah, I'm actually all right with the COVID. So the first 2 days horrible, but that's what a lot of people are reporting. So they kind of suffer for the first 2 days, and then it does get better. Now we're going to follow those green lights.
Double traffic, 1662, passing to runway to the right.
So that was Kitman, just reporting. So we could get this one. Yeah, we'll take this one. Danny, did you first long haul Fuika from Frankfurt, firm landing? Okay, yeah, well that happens, especially when the pilots are tired. It can happen very quickly. There's Kitman. Ooh, those FPS. Blimey. So, we'll do that. That's all done. So I'm going to take the second one to the right. Hope Kitman's okay if I... Hey MAN, how you doing? No, not fully recovered yet. But I do feel a lot better now. So, I would say... Yeah, I'm still positive, so I tested myself today. I'm still positive. But that's not surprising. It's only been like 4 days now, so... Taxi checklist. Flight controls checked. Flap setting. Config 2. Radar predictive windshield system. INOP. Which is bad today. Engine mode selector. Normal. Eco memo. Takeoff. No blue. Taxi checklist completed. Thank you much, MEN. Vielen Dank. Wow, these FPS. That's shocking. But yeah, it's not dual scenery or anything like that. You would see that otherwise. In Singapore, Dushanta, seriously? Wow. Okay, yeah, sure. So I'm not sure. Is that Scoot waiting for us, or the Scoot ready for departure? Are you waiting, or are you going to come take off? Okay, thank you so much. So Scoot 658 is lining up, departing 20 right in Singapore. So lineup checklist. Cabin crew be seated for takeoff. Takeoff runway is 20 right confirmed, full length. The TCAS is TARA. And the packs are on. That's before takeoff checklist complete. We're gonna have a nice sunset again. Good. So let's reset that. Approach sector is clear. Oh god, I hope the FPS improves soon. Jesus. Let's do a rolling takeoff. Lord, what's happening to the lights here? Manflex 68, SAS runway, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. 100 knots. V1, rotate. Pause the climb. Gear up. Yeah, it's already better now. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's the airport. Definitely. Just looking outside the front now, it feels better. All right, cool. Lovely. So we've got thrust climb, climb up blue, auto thrust. It's a beautiful departure, I have to say. Flaps 1, speed is checked. Flaps 1. 1,000 feet to go. Oh, beautiful.
Good night, black box.
I'll show you something. Autopilot 1. Hold on. Flap 0. Speed is checked. Flaps 0. So you can see Marina Bay Sands or Sands. No, Marina Bay Sands. Marina Sand Bay. No, Marina Bay Sands Hotel with that infinity pool. Absolutely brilliant. So let's climb. Let's go. Oops. Let's go there. Oh, you flew the same scenery as the same routing for the scenery. Okay, cool. Let's go 240. Thrust climb, climb up blue 24,000. Now the FPS is really bad again. Blimey. What's happening? Yeah, it's probably the mixture with all the scenery, the clouds, etc., etc. Yeah. And Century Media Films, welcome. Danny, some of our hotels are pretty good, but believe it or not, some are pretty horrible. So it depends on the destination. Transition is 11,000, by the way. So what we do now is just check the gears up, flaps are up, spoilers disarmed, those lights off. There's no checklist. Oh yeah, I know that in Asia, obviously, Feng Shui is definitely something that's being considered. Oh, those clouds impressive, right? Yes, typing a squirrel in the A320, we always set the park and brake. However, the only time we do not is once we've done the lineup on the runway and the runway is contaminated, that's the only time we don't set the parking brake, even for short periods of time. Danny, yeah, you're right. There's lots of stories that I cannot share. It would not reflect well on me. That's a beautiful departure. Right back over the airfield. Look at that. Gorgeous. Oh, yeah. Voyager, no, it's not. No, there's things I can't tell you. Seriously. Don't understand why you can't share them, no. Trust me. Trust me. I know that you guys would love to hear, but no. Right, what we're going to do on Friday, guys, we'll do a interesting scenario. Something that happened to an aircraft. Oh, it's set standard. Standard, cross-checked, passing, flight level 126 now, checked. So yeah, we'll do that on Friday. So with a nice failure. Oh, Kipman, how fast are you? Blimey. I'm doing 305 knots indicated. He seems to be going even faster than that. Okay, well, so I'm doing 305.
My bad, ours is 280.
Copy. Oh, that's not you, Kidman. Is that? Ah, okay. So that's not you then. Beautiful. Oh, those clouds are nice. The scenery I bought, let me see. I think it was on Sim Market, but let me just check. Unfortunately, so the problem is, yeah, it's I think it's a CloudSurf Asia. CloudSurf Asia Simulations, I think it is. So unfortunately, I cannot recommend it for the... I mean, it looks nice, but performance-wise, it is surprisingly bad, which is a shame. It is, okay, yeah. So I think I bought it through the Microsoft store, yeah. And you bought it via Orbix. Yeah, maybe I did too, Kazipaya. Yeah, maybe I did that too. So I've been sent a official... I mean, it's not to me, but someone, one of my mods, sent me an interesting... incident that was very close to an accident on an A320. I think it was France. Let me just get the facts right. And you know when I told you guys about when you're flying an RMP approach, or it's a non-standard approach, that you always check the QNH with the tower. So what happened with that flight? It's not that long ago. It was on the 23rd of May. this year at Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport. So an incorrect QNH information led to this aircraft going around at very low height in front of the runway without visual reference. And then the second approach also was performed below the descent profile. Hey, Flying Paul. There we go, Mark. So thank you so much, Mark. So, and you can see, yeah, nice graphs there as well. Let me just check something here. So if you look at that graph, the trajectory, the nominal, so the normal descent path, and then the actual flown path, and how close, how low was it when they went around? The lowest point was, let me just find the report. Hold on. Six feet. No way. Hang on. 6 feet? Are you guys sure? Let me just get through that. I didn't even see that. It was that close. Oh yeah, there we go. So, 3 seconds later, at an indicated altitude of 679 feet QNH, one... Let's continue to climb 340. Guten Abend, Kontoauszug, how are you doing? Nice to see you. I have a feeling that, I mean, the FPS are still not perfect. I hope it's going to improve when we approach Phuket. Kontoauszug, Dankeschön. Yeah, so it says on the report, it's an official report by the BAA, so it says, at an indicated altitude of 679 feet QNH, 1011, where it should have been 1001 on the QNH, and there should have been 405 feet. The minimum rate of minimum height was recorded at 6 feet above the ground. Holy cow. And the aircraft was 0.8 miles from the runway threshold. That does leave some questions, doesn't it? Like, if they were those so low, the radial altimeter would call out, wouldn't it? It would say 400, 300, 200. Why didn't they kind of... Yeah, that's... Yeah. So the report says the first approach go around at low height around 1 mile before the runway without visual reference and with runway approach lights off. Incorrect QNH readback by the crew during the go around, not noticed by the controller either. Well, maybe they were over fields. I remember that when you approach Charles de Gaulle, there are a lot of normal kind of fields where they grow, you know, wheat and so on. Yeah, there's not many trees there, maybe, so that's why they didn't see trees, I think. But blimey. But I agree. I'm surprised they didn't see the ground. So what was the? Just look for the weather info. It says So at the time, they had 5 kilometers, rain showers, few 1,000, broken 1,500, and temporary 3,500 meters. I do not understand why they wouldn't see ground contact. That's such a weird story, to be honest. There's a note. Hang on, where is it? Do you know which page? Page 3, thank you. Yeah, so... Okay, so the wind was 260 at 12. And where was the... Yeah, the tourist, that's what I'm wondering as well. Unless it was broken, which I doubt. You would definitely get call-outs, yeah, the automatic call-outs. Yeah, exactly. So Sapphire, yeah, that's right. That's I kind of remember as well flying to Charles de Gaulle many times. Exactly. So a lot of flat area, lots of crops. Yeah, yeah, Sapphire. That's exactly what I remember. Yeah. Okay, Antoine, thank you much. So page 10, there's more detailed info. Page 10. Yeah, okay, there we go. So yeah, 5 kilometers, exactly. So that's the weather. So 5 kilometers, rain showers, few 1,000, broken 1,500. I mean, seriously, 1 mile from the runway at 5,000 meter visibility, you should see something. That's just so strange, everything. It looks to me like, I don't know, do you have any transcripts of the voice recorder? Oh, but they're still investigating. So it's just a preliminary report at the moment. Yeah, it will be interesting. I get a feeling. I get the feeling that maybe they were confused. They must have seen. They must have seen the discrepancy between the altimeter readout and the radial altimeter readout. So maybe they were starting to discuss that and say. And so maybe they were heads down. Yeah, I mean, Adrian, at 6 feet, you would have heard 50, 40, 30, 20. I mean, that's what I don't understand, because it doesn't matter what you see outside in that moment. If you have the indication on the altimeter that is still above your minimums, and the radial altimeter starts counting down, man, it would freak me out. I would slam the thrust levers into the toggle notch so hard they would probably never get out of again, and I would just pull back on the stick and pull up. I would just be like, seriously, this is just, and that's assuming you don't have any outside contact. So I don't know what went on there. It's just, you know, sometimes when I read these reports, I just cannot quite comprehend. I mean, you know, everyone makes mistakes, but that's just not really understandable. Nevertheless, what I will show you guys later on the RMP approach into Phuket, I will show you the problem that you have when you set the wrong QNH. And you just have to realize when you're flying an approach that is solely based on calculations in the MCDU, so you don't have any hard reference regarding any VOR, DME indication, that sort of stuff. Yeah, you have to be so careful regarding your altimeter setting. Yeah, so Sapphire, here's the deal. So when you do your preparations regarding approach preparations, you would normally fetch a METAR or an ATIS or something, right? So you would go through your MCDU or the EFB, whatever you want. So you go weather request. Now we're also going to get the alternate airport, which is let's send back. Hold on. Tango Sierra Papa. So we got METAR, yes, send. Now, like I said, you can also go through here. So let's go arrival, retrieving the METAR. So you have some hard data regarding your QNH. And again, it's one of those things you cannot be complacent about. So these things are very important in these modern aircraft. So when you do your preparations and you start entering the weather data, the pilot flying will insert that, and the pilot monitoring, once the pilot flying has finished with all the preparations, the pilot monitoring will check. So if I put in 1006 in here, right, and then we've got 28 degrees, and the wind is variable 3 knots. So there we go. Then we've got some baro, we'll do that later. So I will tell them the pilot monitoring, once I've done all the preparation, okay, can you check my data please? And then he'll go into the other MCDU and then go through all the required data and just check that everything is correctly inserted. That's the first step. So the Swiss cheese model, trying to prevent too many holes in that Swiss cheese model, right? So then you get your approach clearance, you get your, or actually you get descent clearance. At some point the controller will say, descend to altitude such and such, QNH such and such. Now, if that's what I do normally. So if I read back QNH 1006, so when I go and look at the setting, right, I will check, I'll go into the performance approach page and I will check that value with what I've just been told to send to. So let's say, for example, I'm expecting 101, let's say I'm expecting 1011. Oh, actually the other way around. So if I'm expecting through ATIS 1001 and the controller gives me 1011, something doesn't add up. And these kind of QNH settings are a nasty setup. It's like runway 02 or 20. Right? Same with QNH 1011, 1001. It's so easy to kind of get these mixed up. And that's why pilots need to understand these situations and be very, very, very careful. So try not to be complacent with these things. So that would have been one catch, or one chance to catch the error. The last line of defense, 1331, Arthur, exactly. And then the last line of defense comes with your tower call, where we are required to ask the tower controller for the latest QNH. So we would call in, say, Scoot 658, request your latest QNH. And then the tower controller will say QNH such and such. And again, it's a different controller most of the time, so it's unlikely that he will make the same mistake again. Right? But yeah, how that didn't get caught, I don't know. I just, yeah, it's beyond me. I don't know. But that's just the way it happened. Yeah. So do you not get? So guys, regarding 1001, I'm just going to take the autopilot off here for a second. So, I'll show you 1011. Okay, that's pretty close to 34,000 feet. And if I dial in 1001, that's 300 feet difference, right? Makes sense. 10 QNH settings is about 300 feet. So 1 QNH, or 1 hectopascal QNH, is about 30 feet. Right. So keeping things simple, yeah, 30 feet per hectopascal. The problem is, so let me show you guys something. I'm actually making a video about this right now, but have a look. I'm flying 1011, okay, that's what I'm flying. That's what my altimeter is actually referenced to. If, however, the actual QNH is 100, actually, let's do it this one. Hang on. Let's do it this way. So we're going to go quickly. What's the wind? Okay. So we're going to quickly go to custom weather. So if I put 1011, and I'll descend down to 35,000 feet. Quickly. No, I'm not using the beta, Danny. No, I'm not using the beta. Disregard. So, so that's the QNH that is set, right? Now let's say, so that's what I've set on my altimeter as a reference. However, if the actual QNH is 1001, look what happens to the altimeter. It's actually indicating now, because there's less pressure means higher altitude. So what happens, the autopilot or the pilot would actually go and fly indicated 35,000 feet. Now we just know it's just a wrong reference, and that means I'm about 300 feet too low. So physically, I'm flying 300 feet lower than what I'm indicating. And that's the nasty combination. When you set the wrong QNH, and the actual is actually lower than what you set. Right, let's get back to 35,000 feet. The problem is, it's sometimes a bit difficult to get it into your head. So understanding, hang on, I just got a nice picture for you guys. So let me see my workshop. There we go. So, right, so that's for my preparations. Let's have a look. Standard. There we go. So, so why is the true altitude actually different with the different QNH settings? So, physically, if it's QNH 1013, so mean sea level, right, you are 8,000 feet. If the pressure drops, so the ground reference pressure, so let's say there's a low pressure area moving in, and the pressure drops, the reference QNH 1013, so if you set 1013 on the altimeter as a setting, and the actuals is 993, is 20 hectopascal lower, you're going to miss those 600 feet. So what's going to happen physically, even though your altimeter shows 8,000, because it's referenced to QNH 1013, which would be wrong in this case, it should be referenced to 993, but it's not, so you are physically at 7,400 feet. Right, so that's the issue, having a higher setting on your altimeter while the pressure is lower at the field. Right, so that's how it would behave. Yeah, so I'm getting, the reason why I'm making this video is because I'm getting lots of questions regarding what's the difference between transition altitude and transition level. So it's definitely something worth covering. You know, why do we have standard settings, etc., etc. And then difference in between the transition layer. So sometimes it's 1,000 feet, right? So QNH range 1,014 to 1,050. If you have low pressure, so between 1,013 and 978, the transition layer would be 2,000 feet thick, just so that you have a minimum of 1,000 feet separation between aircraft flying QNH and aircraft having switched over to standard. Now the interesting thing is that what people don't realize, so when you've got your altimeter set to 1013 standard and your altimeter is showing 19,000, as you fly along and you fly through different pressure zones, so when the pressure actually drops, the true altitude path will actually drop as well, because your altimeter will try to maintain a constant pressure readout. So if the pressure starts dropping, the aircraft will descend physically. Alright? While if you've got pressure above 1,013, the aircraft will then go above the reference 1013 level. So that's interesting. You know, it doesn't fly a straight path all the time. So the pressure on the ground changes, and the aircraft will actually start. Well, you would assume that obviously the pressure at altitude will also, which is not really the case, but simplistic speaking, the aircraft doesn't really fly all the time nice and level. It actually has an alternating path. Simply because it's a measured pressure level that you're flying along. Oh yeah, and here's a picture that may explain that. Look, so that's the nasty thing. So you're descending below a transition altitude, and you set the altimeter to the QNH 997, the correct QNH setting, which means that, of course, on the ground, the altimeter will show the elevation of the airfield, because it's referenced to mean sea level. But what happens if you forget to set your altimeter to 997? Right, so you've got a wrong reference on your altimeter, so it's aiming for that pressure level, but it's got to descend lower down because the QNH is lower. So physically, the aircraft's actually flying at around 3,920 feet. But it's indicating to the pilot that they're flying 5,000. Right? So it's subjective saying, or it's subjective. You think you are at the right altitude, but you're not. And that's the problem that the crew of that aircraft ran into. And I fear that, or I think that that the pilots were probably getting confused at some point and were discussing things, you know, what's, you know, you gut feeling, right? So they got a gut feeling, hey, you know what, something's not adding up. Something's weird. I can't quite put my finger on it, but something's weird. Why is the radio altimeter running down? You know, not seeing anything outside, you know. So you start having gut feelings and you're voicing them, and then the other pilot says, yeah, you know what, I've been thinking the same. It's kind of weird, isn't it? And that's how these discussions start. But yeah, at some point, if in doubt, right, go around. Clear that thing up. And actually, I can tell you a real world story. A long time ago, I actually did an approach. I was a young captain on a 737 into Katowice a long time ago. And they had a non-precision approach at that time. And they had no no DME at the airport. And we had to set the right QNH and everything, but the descent point was very hard to determine. And so we had a reference radial, and we had our FMS and the map mode, etc. And we started to ascend, and it was late at night, it was dark, it was windy, and at some point I had a bad feeling. I had a bad feeling about the approach, and I voiced that to my first officer. Hey, something, I don't know, I have a feeling something's wrong. Something just doesn't feel like it usually does when you're flying the approach into Katowice regarding distance. And the first officer was saying, don't know what you mean. Let me just check the altitude. No, we should be okay. And the radar altimeter started running down, and I'm like, I just had a really weird feeling. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to go around. Let's reset, because I just don't feel like, you know, I'm not visual with the field. I just don't know what's going on. But I have a feeling that something's wrong. And I just went around. And we set up again, cleared up the thoughts, and I got my mental picture into the right state of mind again. And so there was nothing wrong with the first approach. It's just my mental picture just didn't fit the actual situation. And so I did a go around because of that. Because we've been taught that just do not continue something where you have a bad feeling, because those bad feelings often come from your experience. And so that gut feeling is something that computers don't have, and hence why we don't have autonomous flying up to now, and maybe not for the next 20 years or 30 years, I don't know how long. But it's exactly those moments where you know something's not right. I can't quite put my finger on it, but let's gain altitude. Let's get out of the situation. Let's take the time. Let's take a step back, review everything, and just make sure that that everything's good. The same goes if my first officer, for example, says, Captain, I don't know what it is, but I got a bad feeling. That kind of is a huge alert for me. Because that means our mental pictures are somewhat differing. If I'm thinking everything's fine, and my first officer voicing concern, I'm like, okay, darn. So let's check. You know, does he have a valid point? What's my mental picture? Why is my mental picture deviating from, you know, that from my first officer? It's these things that are so vital in CRM that you need to get sorted out. And whatever you do, don't continue flying an aircraft at 300 miles per hour down towards the ground. Oh, sorry, not 300 miles an hour, 300 kilometers an hour down towards the ground. Yeah, and that kind of unclear state. But like I said, I wish there was a voice recorded transcript from what they were saying in the flight deck. Hey, Captain Bruno, how you doing? Exactly, Sapphire. That's a very good point as well regarding the detransition altitudes. Exactly that. So the reason why you want to have a QNH setting at some point is because you want to have all your altitude information referenced to a hard point, like, you know, sea level. So when you look at your approach chart, all the referenced or shown obstacle clearance altitudes are referenced to mean sea level. So a nice hard point where that doesn't change. While if you're flying along in standard QNH, so 1013, obviously depending on what the actual pressure at the ground or the mean sea level is, you would have different altitudes with regards to those obstacles. Right, so today there's not that many obstacles around, but you can see, for example, here 4,522 feet. Right, that is referenced to mean sea level. It makes sense, right? Mean sea level, well, I would just about to say mean sea level doesn't change, but I stand to be proven wrong if I say that. But let's just say, for our sake right now, right? It doesn't change. So that reference is a solid point. That doesn't change. And so when the airport gives out the local QNH setting, and you set your altimeter QNH setting to that reported one, your altimeter is then referenced to that pressure, meaning that when you indicate 4,500 feet and you fly towards that peak, then you're likely going to hit it. While if you're flying at 6,000 feet, reference to the QNH at the airfield, then you're not going to hit it. Right? So it's a nice kind of reference point. That's why when you approach an airport, when you descend below a certain altitude, you will need a QNH reference. And just like somebody wrote, if you have very high terrain around the airport, let's say Salzburg or Innsbruck or something, then of course the MSA will be higher, and that means obviously your transition altitude will have to be much, much higher. So that from that point onwards, below transition altitude, you have a valid QNH reference. Is there very high pressure on departure and very low pressure at the destination airport a threat, or only something you would closely monitor? Believe it or not, low pressure is actually going to be within the threat range. And the reason for that is obviously that your reference or the transition layer is going to be wider. And when you fly, for example, to Heathrow, I remember that if Heathrow has low pressure, they will actually bring that out in the NOTAM. So notice to airmen, and telling people, the pilots inbound or outbound, that there's a low pressure area to take particular care of the correct altimeter setting. Danny, that was literally a split second before disaster, yeah. That is actually very scary. Yeah. Yeah, we're late again. Late box. Right, let's yeah, FPS. Oh yes, beautiful. Ay. You've seen pilots brief a low transition altitude as a possible threat. Well, I guess. So Amsterdam, for example, would be one of those airports where you have a very low transition altitude. So departing, you're going to be approaching that altitude very quickly. And of course, when departing, you have a lot of things to do with flying the aircraft, communicating with ATC, etc., etc. Same when you go down towards the ground and you pass the transition layer or transition level very, very low to the ground. Again, it's late. You know, you're very busy doing other things, configuring the aircraft, radar vectors, etc., etc. So that's definitely something that could be seen as a threat. Yes. So meaning the distraction you have, and then maybe accidentally setting the wrong QNH, or setting it, forgetting to set it, etc., etc. So looking at the chart, yeah, regarding the go-around path, yeah, the go-around itself is very steep, so they did the right go-around procedure. But boy, yeah, that, wow. But again, I don't know how on earth they would not see the ground. Oh, actually, there's a picture here as well. So on page 6, there's a satellite picture. So you can see the terrain, and you can see where the radial altitude was 6 feet. It's a clear field. It's just a level field. That's all. Yeah, exactly, Adrian. Yeah, these kind of you know, rhymes. Yeah, they do make sense. Just looking at what they had a MSAW warning. I'm just looking at what that was. It's okay. That's for the controller. Okay, so the controller. So ATC has MSAW system, and yeah, that will flash MSAW on their screen, and also it will say alert here, relief, terrain alert. Okay, or relief. Yeah, so terrain alert. These warnings are visible and audible at all air traffic controller positions. Okay, wow. And so, for instance, the controller would then say, whatever, Air Force 3245, terrain alert, check your altitude immediately, QNH 1012. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, Danny, I would be, if I read that, I was a passenger on that flight, oh boy, yeah, I would definitely be upset with that, yeah. Flaps full? That's a very good question. I don't know. You know, 18,000 feet would definitely cover most areas in Germany, in Europe. But yeah, I don't know why it's. I mean, 5,000 is the standard transition altitude in Europe, but of course it's adjusted depending on terrain. I don't know. I don't know why they never went with the American version. Yeah. Bruno, no, I don't have that message. I'm always on time. No, I'm not. But no, I don't have that message, IRL. Oh, that's so beautiful. Lovely. Right, how much longer do we have? It says 12:28. Yeah, it's about. Oh, we got 40 minutes. Oh, good. Try to find something else. So people wondering why the aircraft doesn't give out a warning. The aircraft, so regarding GPWS, so the aircraft has something called a terrain clearance floor system. So the TCF computes a terrain clearance envelope around the airport runway. This function triggers an alert if the terrain clearance is not sufficient, even when the aircraft is in landing configuration. And this function provides an enhanced GPWS Mode 4. So the TCF function also protects against an attempt to land where there is no airfield. However, that area is that area, if you talk about 1 mile, so you would let's put it this way, you would have to descend below 400 feet between 12 and 4 miles from the airfield, which is pretty low. So as long as you're above that, it won't activate a warning. The same goes then between 4 nautical miles and the runway. It gradually descends down to the airfield level itself. So, yeah, it will probably not generate a warning if you're in landing configuration a mile from the field and then descending to the altitude. So it does not give out the too low terrain warning in that case. Either Bruno, you've read the article as well, Bruno. Have you seen anything in there? Because I can't go through the whole document right now regarding too low terrain warnings come up. Kipman? Yeah, Kipman, I know. I've just entered the cost index 11. And because, well, we don't have headwinds. So, yeah, it's just giving you 0.76, Kipman. I don't... Are you in a hurry? I mean, I could fly 0.78, but I don't really... That's a FENIX, though. So, Kipman, that's just the way the FENIX calculates the cruising speed with that cost index. Ah, cost index. Let me pull up a chart for that as well. So, actually, no, I don't need to do that. I could do that instead. There we go. So, cost index is the ratio of flight time cost divided by fuel cost. Right? So, the biggest influence, obviously, is the cost of fuel. Because the cost of time, that's what I always say. I say it's cost of time divided by cost of fuel. Right? So, those factors are things like wages, maintenance costs, those sort of things. And they are more static compared to the fuel costs. Fuel costs, daily base change, that will then influence the cost index more drastically. Right. And obviously, the cost index is different for all airlines because every airline has a different flight time cost. Okay, so but you can definitely say if the price of fuel is very high, which it is at the moment, obviously your cost index is going to be very low. If the fuel gets very cheap, the cost index then will be getting higher because your running costs, so the fixed costs, are then going to be weighed higher in that case. So it's then better to fly faster and have a less flight time. Yeah, Kipman. All right. Yeah. So again, I just go with what SimBrief gives me, and then all right. Let's start getting light set for knock time. Ah, beautiful views here. Love it. Yeah, it is a complex topic, yeah. Although, I mean, you can make it a little bit simplistic if you say just, you know, the cost of time divided by cost of fuel. That's the very simple answer to that. Right, so ATSU AOC menu, received messages, telex. Oh, for crying out loud! If I catch that person that sends me these messages, some of them demeaning me here. Ban them, I say. Right. Let's go and go night charts. So, we're going to check the arrival routing real quickly. So Urgat 10,000 below. Then we've got Pacus Max 230 8,000, and then Rizo 230 5,000 or above. So let's check. 8,000 230 and above 5,000 at Ritsu. And here we got 10,000 below. All correctly programmed. Hey Chain Reactor, how you doing? Then we've got Baron. Yeah, Baron is supposed to be 3,000 above 200 knots. Yeah, correct. And then we fly the approach. So, in order to fly such an approach safely, we first have a look at our capability regarding today. So it says we can do the approach with the Baro VNAV down to 15 degrees Celsius. So if it's any colder than that, we can't fly the LNAV VNAV minimum. We would have to use the LNAV minimum, which is a bit higher. Today, temperatures are at a nice, comfortable 28 degrees. So again, that's within the limits. So technically, hang on, let me just wait for the jingle. I'm gonna put 740 in there. So minimum is going to be 740. Bar road. There we go. Top of descent coming up at 60 miles. That's taking a long time for the jingle to come up.
Autopilot. Autopilot.
Kitman, thank you so much again for another €10 donation. Thank you so much, my friend. Simple topic, donation index, get well soon, Captain. That's really kind, Kitman. I am doing all right. It's just a little bit cough left over. So, but thank you so much, Kitman. And again, thanks for flying along. Thank you for support. So we've entered the data. Let me just get an updated weather info here. So let's recycle that. So we've got 28, 1006, variable 3 knots. So no changes. 1830 UTC, that's fine. So again, we check. 1006, 28, variable 3 knots, all correctly inserted. Transition level, it says 110, but I'm pretty sure that's the transition altitude is 11,000. So yeah, so I'm going to put that at the QNH is 1006, so I'm going to put 2,000 feet buffer on there. So I'm going to put 130 in that. There you go. All right, we'll do a config full approach. The reason being is that variable means we may have some tailwind, and also we have a steeper than normal glide slope or profile, 3.2 degrees. So when we fly a RNF approach, there's 3 important things we need to check. One is the descent angle from the final approach point, the distance to the runway, the missed approach point, obviously, and then the inbound course, 265. So let's check that. So we go to our MCDU. We go... where's the descent point? Is that... yeah, so Hotel Kilo Tango Echo Foxtrot at 1900 feet. Remember, guys, what we said? When can you use the final approach mode? From which point onwards? Exactly. It's when you inbound, so the 2-way point is the waypoint where afterwards you have a descent angle in the MCDU, in the flight plan. So when we're inbound to Hotel Kilo Tango Echo Foxtrot and the approach phase is activated and we're on a proper path, then we can press the approach button. So again, important thing is 5 miles from the final approach point to the runway. Then we've got a 3.2 degree down profile, correctly programmed, and bearing 265 inbound correct. So these 3 values are correct. So geometrically, from the geometric programming of the final descent, everything's correct. Now comes the one critical part. That whole kind of house of cards will fall down if you set the altimeter the wrong value, because everything's calculated with the values that you have entered here. Right? So if you physically set a wrong QNH reference for your altimeter, and that is not cross-checked by the FMS, you will fly a wrong path. And that's what happened to these guys flying towards Charles de Gaulle. All right. So yeah, so the 1900 feet, if you set the QNH 10 hectopascals wrong, so the 1900 feet you would have with an elevation here at the airport of pretty much 100 feet. So the 1800 feet above the runway at this point, physically, which would be correct, will be changed to 300 feet lower, so physically only 1500 feet above the field at that point. However, all your indications on your primary flight display will indicate to you that everything's correct. Right? Because you're going to indicate 1900 feet here, although physically you're only 1500 feet above the ground. But regarding your approach, everything seems normal. And that's a big risk when flying these approaches and you're setting the wrong QNH setting. You have to be aware of that. Good, we got top descent coming up. The weather looks alright. It's kind of weird, isn't it? I wonder when the rain starts coming in. Alright, so after we've arrived, there was one request for a RTO, which we'll do. Right. I don't... Why is that indicating... That's weird. Yeah, I just had a map indication there regarding some waypoints. Kind of weird. So, as always, make sure... this is kind of another fallback, or something that will help you identify an error. So, Victor Tango, Sierra Papa, and we're doing the approach 27. Right, that will give me the distance to the threshold. And that's why it's always good pilot practice to look at your distance, right, to threshold, and then you know how high you should be at, right? And that way, if there's any bigger discrepancy, it's more likely you'll catch it. All right, let's go down 190. So we've got descend up blue 190. Oh yeah, landing distance. So what else do we need? Performance. Landing calculation there. So we're doing runway 27. I am going to put in a little bit of tailwind just in case. So I'm going to put 090 at 5. 05. Actually, so that again. So 09005. We may have wet runway, landing weight. The landing weight currently is 63. Will burn. It says 2.8600. Yeah, let's do 62.8, just with a little bit buffer. 62.8. That's a landing weight. We'll do. Oh, there we go. Already got some values for auto brake low. Flaps full, auto thrust off. It gives us a required of 2,550 with the 15% addition, so 2,550, and we have 3,000 available. So auto brake low will do nicely. Let's see where we can vacate. So let's go and have a look at the airport infos there. So Echo would be nice, but we can take this one here as well. So two options, Echo, or Bravo. It's giving me some hotspot infos. It's runway incursion hotspots. Okay, so we've got to be careful. But that's fine. Cool. Alrighty. So anything else? RATNAV we'll leave clear because there's an RMP approach. Automatic low. Checked all the values. So, briefing for the arrival. Pilot monitoring says we are going to be arriving via the Urgat 1 Delta arrival and then transition onto the RNAV Zulu 27 approach. The approach minimum is 740 feet. The go-around trajectory is going to be as follows. We're going to go climb Rondo Trek 265 degrees at 2,500, turn left direct to Banley, climb to 4,000 to hold. Extra time fuel, so extra time right now is approximately 800 kilograms, 25 minutes, so we could do a second approach before having to divert. Guidance for the approach will be final approach mode. Landing flap setting config full. Stop margin is about 400 meters. Planned runway exit we set Echo or Bravo. Yeah, and hotspots taxiing, yeah, runway incursion hotspots. We'll have a look out. Special operation, well, we're doing an RMP approach, so make sure that we check the QNH with the tower. Very important. But that's everything else pretty much standard. So there we go. Threat mitigation. Regarding wrong QNH setting, make sure we check the radio altimeter as well. Look for plausibility and yeah, call out any discrepancies that may just pop up. Good. So we're gonna wait for the 10,000 foot ceiling, or the fly through 10,000 feet, and with the QNH set before we can read the approach checklist. All right, do we have any more questions? Chain reactor. Hey, given the last night, that's night time. Yesterday we discussed the FENIX Discord whether it's realistic the main panel floor light on the peasant float to have different colors. So you mean these lights? Yeah, no. No, I normally, these would be a bit yellowish as well in real life. Yeah, at least that's why I yeah, it's more yellowish. It's not so bright like this. But who knows? Again, different aircraft, different companies. A flood? Not floor? Hang on. Oh, the flood. Hang on. But yeah, but you mean like this is being very bright? Yeah, well, the thing is this. So, chain reactor, the new aircraft, they have a more whitish kind of glow on the front panel as well. So, yeah, I know what you mean. The discrepancy between this so LEDY and yeah, it's unusual. Yeah, I would say so. Stark, yeah, definitely. So unless they open up the API to external developers, being able to then, you know, simulate weather radar returns. Yeah, either that or we need to do the work themselves at Asobo to implement that. But I don't think the world or the next update 10 will bring the change, will it? Oh really? Oh god. No, that would be a shame. Can only hope that is improving quickly then. They announced API, but all they gave was access to the default bitmap gender, nothing. Oh, okay. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. No tilt control. Okay. Well, hopefully, again, I can only hope that they will start to make that better soon. Okay. Flight time is 20 minutes, so we still wait a couple of minutes for the seatbelt signs. Turn that down a bit. Oh, no, that's wrong. Wrong button there. There we go. The outer button there. That's what I wanted. Okay, there we go. That's better. Right, so ERGAT below 10,000. That's the limit we've got to get. So just put our speed brakes. Just going a little bit below the path here. Oh, I'll start. Don't want that. Let's go down to flight level 130. So back to managed. So managed to send out blue 130. So guys, what I will do, I will set a wrong QNH, alright? So we know that the QNH is 1006, and I will enter 1016. Oh, I will set 1016 here. That means, so in order for our altimeter to fly the correct pressure altitude that we've set, it will have to descend down lower, so into more dense area, air, to get that correct readout of the altimeter. So physically, we'll be 300 feet lower than what's indicated. And we'll have a look at the indications that we get. So why isn't it a problem when you're flying an ILS approach? All right, so let's say you're flying an ILS approach and you're setting a wrong QNH setting. Well, there's an advantage with the ILS approaches is that it's a physical beam from the ground up, meaning it's received by the aircraft. And so even if you have a wrong altimeter setting, initially you will fly at the wrong altitude for the intercept, so the intercept may be later than normal. So that will be an indication that something's wrong. Speed brakes back in. However, once the glide slope and the localizer is captured, then you fly the right path, unless you've got a side lobe. But let's say you're on the right normal glide slope and localizer beam, then any wrong altimeter setting will just give you a kind of a wrong cross-check altitude if you do that. And of course, it will give you a wrong minimum. So that's the risk really in that, is that you fly lower than you want to if you've got a lower altimeter setting than you have set. Yeah, so Stark, we talked about this. You weren't there earlier. Let me just give you the incident again. Well, actually, let me give you the link for the final report. So if you want to read through that, it's an interesting occurrence, quite hair-raising, really. Happened on the 23rd of May this year. Yeah, and that happened because of wrong QNH setting from the flight crew, and the ATC guy not picking up. Autotaf, hey, how you doing? I hope you've seen some. Yeah, sorry, I'm doing a bit better. Yeah. So the first 2 days were horrible, but yeah, it's slowly getting better. I'm still positive though, so still in quarantine at home. Good. Let's switch on the seatbelt signs. I'm going to put these on already. I tell you what, guys. I know. I hope it doesn't mess up something completely now. But I tell you what. Let's do this daytime. It's such a beautiful area. So let's see the world outside, shall we? Right, continue to send now down to 3,000 feet initially. So descend 3,000 feet, QNH 1016. Right, deliberately setting a wrong QNH setting there, alright? So 1016. On purpose. So anybody saying, hey, black box, you got the wrong setting. I know. You're not scared of the dark. No, it's just a beautiful... I want to see the islands that we actually went on holiday on. That's what I'm talking about. I know a lot of people have been here on holiday as well. Alright. Cool. And the performance is nice now. I like it. No, it's not an excuse. Get out of here. Right, so QNH is set. We're just gonna... So yeah, one thing we would do, obviously, we set the QNH that we just heard from ATC, and then we look into the approach page, and then we would say, hang on, ATIS? Huh? Something's wrong. And then we can confirm that with the ATC controller. Hey, just confirm the QNH again. Right? So that's already the first thing that went wrong somewhere with their preparations and their execution. Yeah, 6 feet stuck. That is more than uncomfortable. Yeah, that is pretty much. You would ask yourself how they averted disaster. Yeah, that is seriously scary. Absolutely, yeah. That is a very close call. Good, just waiting for the 10,000 feet transition there, and then we will read the approach checklist. So thrust idle. Phuket traffic, Scoot 658 is approaching from the south. We're going to fly the RNF 27 Zulu approach in Phuket. Good, 10,000 feet approach checklist. Barrow Ref, QNH 1016. Seat belts on. Minimum Barrow or MDA 740 feet. Auto brake low. Engine mode selector normal. Approach checklist completed. That's so beautiful. Right. Okay, so Scoot 658 via what's it called here? Baron. Via Baron cleared the RMP Zulu 27. So since we're clear for the approach, what I'll do is I am going to set 1900. So 1900 blue. So we got deceleration point coming up here. That's that circle there. Decelerating to 230 knots. Good. We've checked 10,000 feet. We'll check the RNF capability. So we've got GPS primary high on both sides. And let me just put Victor Tango Sierra Papa 27. 20 miles. Fantastic. Thrust idle. There we go. Hey, FlightSim Kid, that's really kind of you. Thank you so much for the kind words. Yeah, thanks for being here. Yeah, there's more content being planned, especially with regards to some cool approaches. Yeah, stay tuned. More coming. Is there somewhere on this side where they filmed the beach? Because like I said, we went on holiday and we were on an island somewhere here on this side. Actually, maybe it was further out even. I remember that we were brought there by a speedboat. Man, it had like 3 huge outboard engines, and they were so bloody noisy. But man, I loved it. It was so fast. Now, again, careful at the moment. There's a bug in the FENIX. That deceleration point is just way too late. Alright, and normally you would expect that somewhere in here. So I'm already going to activate the approach phase. We're already at green dot. So now we've got the VDEF bar. That's a good indication that we have the approach phase active. I don't know why I still have the LDEF. I don't want to do LDEF already. Do I? Ah, let's leave it. That's weird. It's fine. Yeah, Eternal, fantastic. Yeah. Again, regarding DCS, so we just it's training. So yeah, exactly. Lots of different aircraft to try out if you like. Yeah. It's a beautiful area. I mean, if you do like go diving, etc., it's such a beautiful place here. You can also recommend the Khao Lak area about an hour north of Phuket. Been there twice during the time. Yeah, nice. Do you actually, out of Taft, do you actually go I don't know, snorkeling or diving or something? Okay, nice. Flight sim video. Yeah, all the best. Yeah, that's great news. Yeah, I wish you all the best for that. Okay, so again, it's it's calculating its path, and we are aware that we got the wrong QNH set. So what I would expect when we're descending now towards 1900 feet, final approach point altitude, I would expect the radio altimeter to come alive somewhere inbound now, and that will be the first clue that something's not right. Right. So currently we are 13 miles out. I'm going to select flaps 1, speed is checked, flaps 1. Flight Simulator, yeah, so beginning next year, I have a confirmation. They did actually scrap a lot of... oh, beautiful. They scrapped a lot of transitions this year because of capacity issues. Good. Flaps 2, speed is checked. Flaps 2. I want to see the runway there. Oh, it's such a beautiful approach. Yeah, look, a good thing that we've chosen... We are in live weather, right? Yeah, look at that. That's good thing. I was... With variable wind on the ground, I would have thought maybe we should have done the other approach. But look at the wind here. A380, no. No. A little bit of snorkeling. You tried it with your son last year. Nothing professional, just for nice. Oh, it's still empty. Okay. And a lot of fish near the beach. Lovely. Insane Base? I don't think so. It would be under the Microsoft flight sim options to have that section, increased sequentially.
$2,500.
Right. So I would say, 2,500. That's already a bit weird, right? Because if we have the right QNH set, that should actually match up. Right. Okay, well, let's continue for now. Oh, they still have the COVID regulations. Okay. Yeah, maybe someone... Insane Base, I've not tried regarding speed brakes. I mean, you can always physically do that, right? You can always do it this way. Okay, so gear down. Good, we're inbound. We can now press the approach button. Right, inbound to the final approach point. Final app is set. And we're going to set missed approach 4,000 feet. So, again, it does not add up, does it? And we're above water. Sea level right below us. So that should match up. This is a clear indication something's not right with the altimeter. Right. Flaps 3, speed is checked. Flaps 3. And flaps 4. Yeah, so MAN, if you saw the runway, and look at that, we only see 1 white, 3 red. Yeah, you can continue visually now, MAN. Absolutely. And now look at that, 4 red. You see? So physically, so everything's indicating, so if we didn't have visual contact now with the runway, we would think everything's in order. Right? Everything's in order according to our FMS. Right? But physically, it's not. We're actually too low. Meaning...
1,000.
1,000. We can actually hit obstacles. So, above a certain discrepancy, you could be, 40 feet, 5 feet below, and you can actually be then into obstacle area. So let's have a look what happens if I do that. Look at that. I've changed the altimeter to the correct value. Minimum. Look at that. Now, the FMS recalculates the path based on that new setting and the altimeter setting, right? So now it's comparing these values again and saying, hey, you're too low. Right, landing checklist. We've got eco landing no blue. Landing checklist completed. Manual thrust, manual flight.
$400.
Oh. There we go.
300.
Right, flight directors off.
200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard.
Oh.
10.
Oh, so we're floating, come on.
5.
Just been. Oh, terrible landing. I'm out of practice. At least with the FENIX. I've not flown it for ages. Oh, that was twitchy. Right, that's Echo.
Phuket traffic, wind 652, stopping for line 27.
That was a terrible landing. Phuket traffic, Scoot 658 has vacated the runway at Phuket. Oh, bloody hell, that was a bad landing. Jesus. I've been here in real life as well, so I actually can relate to the airport. I've just been here as a passenger, not as a pilot, so not on duty. But yeah, it is a beautiful place. Right, so let's do that.
Can someone check the runway for some FOD?
I'm not saying anything to that. No, I think I blame the fact that I've not flown the FENIX for a long time. You see, I always have an excuse. Okay, Emma, I'll get to your question in a second. Let me just go and taxi the aircraft to the ramp. TCAS, radars already. So after landing checklist, radar predict wind shear is still in up. Oh, hello, hello. Okay, I'll wait here. I can watch the landing. So Phuket traffic, Scoot 65 is holding position to let out the aircraft on the apron. Oh, someone's coming, someone's landing. I didn't realize it's so close. But we can assume that was a beautiful landing. And probably not as floaty as mine. That was from the Scoot, okay. So I'm sure that you did not float as much as I did. You can take the blame, Martha. Okay. And then we've got Kipman coming in. Yeah, so we definitely will do one more thing. Once we finish the flight, we'll taxi out again and do an RTO. Although, I mean, the RTOs, I know that already sounds spectacular, but in the A320, it's I don't know.
Phuket traffic, windmill 652, short final runway 7, Phuket.
Runway is clear.
Thank you.
Yes, so MAN, we tried the Twin Otter in Microsoft a while back. However, I'm not sure. Are you looking for a twin prop, or because the Kodiak will get an update soon with floats? So personally, I would prefer the Kodiak if you're looking for that kind of versatility. No, I don't use a key command. I actually use the controller here to move the views. So I can do tilt, rotate with that, and I've got my viewpoint set here with the buttons. So that's quite a neat little thing to have, especially when doing content creation. The Kodiak, let me see. Just make sure that I don't give you the wrong name. Yeah, SimWorks Studios, exactly. Yeah. SimWorks Studios. And there was a news out. There we go. Nice landing, Kidman. Yeah, not so floaty as mine. GG's. Oh! What? How? Sorry, I hope that wasn't me. Oh no. What happened? What happened? Right, or maybe I should say this. Right. Nothing to see. Move on. I was wondering what this guy is thinking, like, bloody hell, all these noobs on, you know. Learn to fly your aircraft, please. Lol. Yeah. GG's. Yeah.
Welcome aboard the Captain Black Box YouTube
if you're on the stream,
subscriber
can
experience.
the guy flying the
Could new
scoots behind me,
subscribers please make their way to the first class cabin?
can you please
where
tell me what
complimentary
happened,
drinks, snacks,
please?
and premium
I'm
flight
dying to find
entertainment
out.
will be served. Thank you.
That is hilarious. What on earth happened there? I'm so sorry. Kipman, there's some debris on the taxiway. You may need to taxi around. Oh my god. Kipman, is it showing the same for you? Small FOD on the
Yes.
Is it? Okay. Oh my god. Oh no. It's still there. What happened? Like, seriously. Right, guys, I'm not going to shut the engines down. Alright, I'm going to be taxiing out again. Just do the RTO, alright? Get the viewpoints, there we go. But we'll make the aircraft a bit heavier. So what we'll do is we calculate performance. So we'll take... Actually, hang on. So Victor Tango Sierra Papa. Victor Tango Sierra Papa. In there. GG. 1-1. And there's something in there. It's not really that important. Let me just do make the aircraft nice and heavy again. So let's go config. Fuel. So we'll make it a nice 6,000 kilograms again. Yeah, there we go. So 65 tons, nice takeoff weight, and then 59.7 at 29.7 CG. That is good. Departure. We'll take 09 this time. Just do any kind of departure route here. Let me do the calculations. So let's do 09 dry. We'll do config 1. Tax on, that's fine. That's fine, Captain. So it requires flex 60, flaps 1, 60. And it's gonna require 44, 44, 46. $1,600. Good. So RTO and trim is down 0.2 as always. Down 0. What's the longest holding I've done? Good question. It must have been around. It was near Torino. We had tankering, so we had lots of fuel. I would think about an hour, 30 minutes or something. Something in that region. Because Ops Center wanted us to hold there as long as possible before diverting. So yeah. So there's Kipman has parked as well. Oh, hey, we fixed the aircraft. Lovely. Yeah, Alan, just setting up everything up for that. So I am going to disconnect from VATSIM. And then, yeah, we'll just actually, can we push back? Let me do that. All right. The runway turn off lights, stack go off for the gears, track right. Why are they switched off manually during climb? Well, the thing is, Nico, we always try to get the actual physical condition of the system in line with the switches. That's why. I know the logic that you're applying. Like, you know, what damage does it do when it's switched off automatic anyways? But whenever you have automation, maybe sometimes the automation fails. And then you have a very hot light bulb in the gear compartment. So it's kind of a fail-safe thing, right? So yeah, that's why we bring things in line, and that way make sure the system is actually deactivated as well. Okay, so that was that. Let me go here. Actually, that was right there. So ground services. Good. MAN, I'm using I am using AIG. No, EIG, so Indian Aviation Group or something. I can get you some details to that, MAN, if you want. So let's release the parking brake and let's push back. Start. Alpha India. Okay, this way around. Alpha India Group. I can never remember that. So Alpha India Group. Okay, I mean, yeah, we'll do so. Yeah, absolutely. It's. I thought, you know, it's going to be really complicated, but it's not. So the engine's already running. So we should do that already. That's fine. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set my failure. So let's do config manual failures. We're going to do. Let's do something different this time. Because we always do engine failures, don't we? So let's do something nasty. Let's do side stick fault. Let's do flight controls. Let's see if we have that. Where are we? So, stop.
Hello, black box.
Orange shoes into radio panel. I like your thinking, but no. It's not an option here. Hey, Brennald, moin, wie geht's dir? I'm just curious. There we go. Side. Oh wow, we got even side stick reversal. So, so let's do. I'm just curious. I'm just messing about a bit because I know that a side stick fault normally goes through. So let's do that at 135. arm failure, and then we do that as well at there as well. So if that doesn't work, what we'll do then is we're going to do something else. We're going to get a what else? Now let's try that. If that doesn't do anything, we'll abort the takeoff at 140 knots. All right. Good. So after start flows. So that's all done. Fantastic. Let's go. Okay, hey Bruno, that's nice. MAN, do you see the link from Bruno there? Yeah, have a look at that. I mean, that's what I'm using, so... you had a bug with the FENIX. You couldn't enter a waypoint into the flight plan. The problem is, Brennan, I would need to know what condition that was under. So how did that happen? Are there geese in Phuket? Well, there's big birds in Phuket for sure. I'm just going to set everything up for the takeoff. That's all done. Right. So, so here's the deal. High energy RTO, so anything above 100 knots is in the high energy regime. Obviously, then you're going to get a lot of stress on the landing gear, on the wheels, on the brakes. A lot of energy that gets transferred into the brake discs. So potentially you could have a gear fire. That's potentially an issue. Also, obviously, whenever you have an issue with the engines, actually, let me simulate that. Let me simulate that as well as a second failure. So let's pretend that the activation of the reverse thrust, something goes wrong there, and we actually have then an engine failure. Engines conditional. Always forget to set conditional. Engine failure left. We'll do above 141. No, let's do 140. Right. Actually, it says above because I'm thinking it. Let's do 136 then. Right, there we go. Because that way, if you have an engine failure, obviously, at high speeds, especially on a wet runway, it will become very slippery, and then having asymmetric thrust as you abort the takeoff. No. Gear fire could be a nice name for a punk rock band. User-defined waypoint. Hang on. Could not insert the user... Okay, so... User waypoint. Hold on. Let me just set the parking brake here really quickly. So let's see. So where did you go to? Data, or how did you enter that then? So pilot waypoints. Right. So. So, Brandon, did you just want to enter a name, or did you want to define that? So, what? I'm not sure what you're trying to enter. So, for example, if I would say, let's do Phuket 01, and I want to put a engine failure waypoint. So, place Victor Tango Sierra Papa. Actually 09 bearing, so outbound is outbound is going to be is it 085 then? I would imagine so. Yeah, 085. So bearing 085, and then I'm going to put 20 miles, for example. Right, place bearing distance there and store. Right, so all I need to do now is to have that indicating is I will need to put that, for example, under the progress page. You should be able to do that now. So Phuket 01, and it should show up. Yeah, so that's there, 20 miles. Now, if you want to have that indicating on the display, you want to go into fix info and then put that there, and then it will show up as a blue waypoint there, Brenold. Right. So there we go. That's how it will work. So again, I'm not sure. I can't. There's so many ways of doing these waypoints, so I'm not 100% sure what he did and what didn't work. Can you enter the new? Yes, of course. Hang on. So if I wanted to, Brenold, let's say I am going to put that waypoint is past that one, so I will need to put that Phuket 01 and put that in there. And there we go. Now it's in the flight plan. Yeah, it does work. Beautiful sunset again. Alright, let's do the RTO. Right, so high energy RTO. Obviously, the important thing is a very quick activation of the procedure in a sense of stopping the aircraft. So there is absolutely no delay allowed when executing that that procedure, i.e. closing the thrust levers, activating reverse thrust, and by that time you should already see a deceleration. So we look for automatic max decel. If it doesn't happen and the pilot monitoring calls out no decel, apply max manual brakes. And I mean max, you would step down fully onto these pedals to get full braking force. Normally that would work, the auto brake would work, and it's very convenient, and it will brake at maximum possible pressure and bring the aircraft to stop as quickly as possible. The reverse thrust, to be honest, on a dry runway, by the time the reverse thrust activates and starts producing reverse thrust, you're almost at a standstill. I mean, you're below 70 knots at that point anyways, where it doesn't really make a difference, or much of a difference, activating reverse thrust at that point. But we'll see. Right, so what would then happen normally is come to complete stop. Make sure you set the parking brake. That's a very important point, so that the aircraft doesn't stop moving under its own power, because it's going to be heads down, you know, doing procedures maybe. Yeah, max auto brake. Yeah, it's on. So then the next call would be ATC call, right? Whatever you call sign, mayday, 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 aborted takeoff, or stopped on the runway, request fire brigade, or rescue services, or whatever you want to call it. And then once that call is out, I would go and then alert my cabin crew. And there's different calls, different companies do different calls. So, you know, cabin crews at stations would be something sometimes you would call out. And then that alerts the cabin crew. The cabin crew will get out of their seats, take their evacuation positions, monitor the situation inside and outside of the aircraft, and report anything that is suspicious in the sense of fire, smoke, etc., etc. And then once that's done, we have a look at the issue at hand, and if there's anything that we need to do to fight a danger. So if, you know, engine's on fire, if, you know, anything is there that can lead to a more problematic situation, we want to take care of that first of all. However, at some instance or some failures, there is no immediate danger apart from maybe then the brakes overheating and the landing gear catching fire. So kind of a secondary issue that may arise. But if there's no ECAM procedure, if there's nothing else you can do, well, then the next option would be the evacuation checklist. However, you will not actually start the evacuation procedure unless you are sure that you need to evacuate. So you can always just monitor the situation, wait for the fire brigade, and then, you know, whenever you get a call saying, Captain, I can see flames underneath the right-hand wing, then of course you would get into the into the evacuation checklist, and then very likely evacuate the aircraft. All right, let's try this. So let's give you the side stick. So takeoff. So we got Manflex 60 SRS, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. How about I break the thrust levers now? Slamming the thrust levers back. 100 knots checked. Stop. So we got spoilers reverse green, decel. Oh, it's a heavy aircraft. And the engine failed. There we go now. Right. Aircraft stop. No, reverse it there. Right, there you go. So important thing is to keep the aircraft onto the center line. And there we have it. And we would say now, of course, engine 1 fail. Hang on, where's the reverser still there? Right, so we would say engine 1 fail. Having done all the calls, of course, right? So the first officer would say, mayday, mayday, mayday. Board a takeoff, request fire assistance. Then we would do the call as well, just like I mentioned. Attention crew on station, attention crew on station. And then we'd have a look. Is there anything that we could do to fight the problem? So now we would see, hey, you know what? We've got engine failure, very high EGT. So engine 1 fail, ECAM actions. Engine master 1 off. That's just being done without confirmation now. If damaged, yeah, well, obviously, so no rotation. Engine 1 fire, push button push. Again, without confirmation. That's done on the ground, just by actions, because we're not in the air, we're not flying. There we go. Engine 1 discharge. So there's no time limit on that one. Discharge, and that with an engine failure with damage, that means now the engine is secured. So the first officer would say engine 1 secured. I would say stop ECAM, and then we would assess the situation right now. So, you know, is there anything? Where's the aircraft? There is the aircraft. Is there anything critical that would require maybe us getting into the evacuation checklist? Interestingly enough, so that actually did come through as expected. All right, and that's a nasty failure, to be honest. It's a caution with a single chime, but obviously it's such a major thing. It actually gets through the inhibition phase, right? Because obviously, side stick fault could mean it's not working at all, or maybe the inputs that you're making are going to be completely wrong, or going to give wrong outputs. So definitely a critical situation. That's why it comes through the inhibition phase. Another word regarding your stop margin. So we can see that actually we are still some distance away from the end of the runway. All right. So remember, we say stop margin. That's what we always talk about. The stop margin, right? So when you've come to a stop, the margin you have to the end of the runway. And of course, when you have a 747, let's say Mexico, you will find very often you have zero stop margin. So theoretically speaking, doing an RTO at V1 will bring the aircraft to a stop at the end of the runway. All right, so the balanced field length will be such that the takeoff stop distance, so accelerator stop distance, will be within the pavement length of the runway. But again, that's a different topic. But you can see, of course, people may be disappointed in saying, "Hey, you know what? We've got heavy aircraft, even reduced power for takeoff, and we came to a stop so quickly." I can tell you that sometimes when I'm taking off on a runway that's a bit shorter, heavy aircraft, and let's say we have 250-meter stop margin calculated, and we roll down the runway, I'm sometimes surprised that we will be coming to this point, let's say, and then we have V1. So the decision point where from this point onwards we have to take off. And if at V1 I look down the runway, the rest of the runway I have available, sometimes I'm thinking like, it's unbelievable that in such a short space, you can actually stop the aircraft from 150 knots to standstill. But again, that depends on, dry runway, wet runway, contaminated runway, etc., etc. So many parameters. But yeah, it's fascinating sometimes how large the braking force is. Yeah, it could be signal loss stock. So Bruno is already on it. Yeah. So signal stuff. Yeah, sure. There's some logic that always has kind of a signal in the background that's always checking it's live, if you like. So whenever that live connection is lost, yeah, you'll have the warning come in. Yeah, but that's something for technicians. That's outside my knowledge base. Good. Well, I can. Sorry, guys. I can feel my voice now just getting really bad. Who decides to use the overwing exits? Brennard, when you fly in an A320, or next time you do, and you actually sit at the emergency exit row, very likely you will have a flight attendant come up to you and ask you. Let me just get the row here. Right, we'll have a chat with you, and we'll ask you, for example, do you speak German or English? Right, let's say you have a German carrier. Do you speak German or English? Okay, let's say you say, you speak English. Okay. Are you familiar with the emergency exit and the use of it? Are you feeling strong enough to actually open the emergency exit in case of evacuation? And you would have to say yes. If you say no, well, you're going to be kicked out of the emergency exit row, right? So obviously someone that is, well, no, that's discriminating. I'm not going to say that. So I was going to say, if you're 90 years old, no, you can, if you're 90 years old, you could have the strength easily, to open the window there. No, that's not the right criteria. But you will be asked by the flight attendant if you see yourself fit enough and if you are able to understand the commands given to you to open that overwing exit in case of a emergency. Then you'll be asked to read the instructions, or you'll be told how to open these in case of emergency. And then you're good to go. So the passengers are told in this case that you will told the command will be, let's say, passenger evacuation, right? So you'll be clearly told when you hear that command, then you open that exit, right? And that will be then your cue to open that. So Brendan, there's no decision who decides. They always will be used, right, on the ground. in case of an emergency evacuation. So there we go. I think kind of easy to do a boarding simulator when you do beforehand what happens, but when none is okay. Yeah, Brenold. Well, this is the thing. So what we call, so I've talked about this a long time ago, I think. When we do the lineup, so when we approach the runway, the cabin crew does something what's called a 30-second review. So in their mind, they will go through what happens if we now have an RTO, right? They will collect themselves again regarding commandos, so the commands given. They will have a look at the door. Okay, so where are which levers? You know, what do I have to do in case of such and such a thing? So they have a 30-second review as their last thought before takeoff. Why? Because it's proven, in case of a sudden abnormal, your last thoughts will be the first to be called up by your brain. Right? So if you think about your girlfriend or your boyfriend just before takeoff, it's lovely because that's the first thought that will come back to your mind in case of emergency, but it won't help the passengers, all right? So that's why the last thought will be, all right, in case of emergency. For me as a pilot, as a captain, and I'm not joking, before every takeoff, when I do the lineup, I not only check, you know, the situation regarding the environment, wind, departure route, etc., etc. I also quickly have a thought about my physical movements when I do an RTO and what call-outs I'm going to do, right? So there will be call-outs like go, stop, and then once I've set the parking brake, wait for the first officer for the report, the attention crew and station. Because again, in case I get startled by an exploding engine, and because I've trained this situation so often, those procedures like closing thrust levers, activating reverse thrust, checking brake force, that sort of stuff, that's trained. You would call that up. That's not the issue, right? The issue is more than procedure-wise what happens when the aircraft comes to stop. So I give you an example. Not too long ago, I would say about 3-4 weeks ago, we had a takeoff, Frankfurt, runway 18, and we were rolling down the runway, and we were about 120, 130 knots when I saw, well, both of us actually saw a huge bird. It looked like a crane or something approaching from the right, and it was exactly engine height, and the path, the speed was such that it was going to hit the engine. It was just dying to go into the engine, and I remember saying, "Oh shit," and the co said, "Yep." I remember that so vividly, and then that crane, hats off to that guy or female, whatever. It literally, I'm not joking, it did a 90-degree bank 7G turn back to the edge of the runway. I've never seen a bird turn on a dime with such a wingspan. I'm not joking. It did a absolute Top Gun move there. So I don't know how it missed us, but it did. So yeah, hats off to that crane. Still living, hopefully, up to this day. And yeah, for us, it really saved the day because we had no option. I could not do anything about it at that speed. I can't, press rudder pedal and try to get off the, off the center line or something. That does not work. So yeah, but exactly that is, you're drilled yourself to a certain reaction. So that's what we call, actually, Brennel, but that's what we call canned decision. Right? There's not many canned decisions that we have, but that is one of those. There's no time to do analysis. You just have time to do one reaction. Tom Crane. Exactly. Tom Crane with sunglasses on, I swear. Yeah, that was a cool crane. But Brennel, no doubt, it will get your heart rate up in real life. If you do that in real life, yeah, definitely, you know, you're gonna have some shaking knees afterwards. Yeah, for sure. Is it easy to set up the crosswind? What do you mean, Diego? You mean in the options? Yeah, I get asked that sometimes. You know, regarding the FENIX. Now, the FENIX, yeah, I'm not really happy with the sensitivities, but what I've done is I've dialed down the pitch sensitivity by 30%. So both axes, up and down. The roll axis is still linear, so it just had a bit of a dead zone of 2%. But the pitch is definitely dialed down. Otherwise, it's just way too sensitive. Regarding the rudder pedals, there I have. Look at that. I have dialed that down by about 40, almost 40%. So yeah. Again, take out some of that twitchiness. Yeah, but the setup itself is easy. Yeah. Apologies. All right. Banzai. Yeah.
Autopilot.
Brennel, thank you so much.
Autopilot.
Brennel, thank you so much. And donating also 10 euros. Applause for that, Brennel. Thank you, schön. And nice story he writes. Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for all the questions. And yeah, challenge accepted. Brennel has given me, I think, 2 more challenges now. So one is in Paro again with engine failure. I remember that. And then an approach somewhere. Yeah. Friday. So Friday, what I'm planning to do on Friday is I am planning to do a one failure scenario, which is not going to be too drastic, let's put it this way, but I get you guys involved for the decision making, and it gives you some insight in what's happening in the flight deck when something like that happens, and some technical background as well, so I'll prepare something for that. Good. Oh, and Brennel, yeah, okay, no, oh good. I was just talking about the video that I'm preparing regarding transition altitude and transition level. I'm planning to do that in German and English, and yeah, so I've already done all the files regarding regarding the animations and so on. Yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to get that ready this week, and that should hopefully clear up questions regarding transition altitude and transition level, and also the issues that can arise. And oh, Brendan, you weren't here before, so we talked about an incident happening at Paris Charles de Gaulle on the 22nd of May this year, and that aircraft had a wrong altimeter setting on an RNP approach, and it descended down to 6 feet before it went around, and that was about a mile before the runway, so that was almost a crash. And interesting to see, regarding the the altimeter setting and how important it is to make sure you get that right. Cool, big shout out to the doctor donating 50,000. Was it rupiah? Indonesian rupiah or something. Thank you so much for that. Diego, thank you much for your membership. Yorda as well for the membership. Emre as well to you. Thank you for the 6 months in a row, Emre. And then we have Kitman with the 10 euro, and Brennel as well with the 10 euro. Thank you so much. And Gregor. Oh my god, Gregor. I'm so sorry. Gregor, are you still here? Oh no. I think that was right before landing, wasn't it? My bad. Gregor, I hope you're listening. Vielen Dank. Thank you so much for 6 months. And he says, hi all, finally managed to join a live stream. I'm so sorry for the late shout out. Oh god. Yeah, sometimes my brain, when I'm concentrating, I kind of focus so hard. Yeah, if he's not here, I'll write to him. Did you already see the deer around 1-8 in Frankfurt? Went several times. No, I've not. No, forward. No, never seen it. I've seen foxes, but never seen any deers. All right, cool. Oh, and one more question. Do you have the ability of board to cross-check QNH you got from the tower? Yes. So, Brandon, one clear cross-check is the ATIS that you receive. You are required to get a written ATIS or a ATIS via VHF noted down, including the altimeter setting. That's very important. That's one thing where you have a written QNH. Then the first controller that gives you a descent towards an altitude. You get a QNH setting. You check the QNH that he gives you or she gives you regarding what you've entered and what the ATIS says. Then on final approach, when you do an RMP approach or VOR approach, so non-precision approach, you have to ask the tower controller again to confirm the latest QNH. Chain reactor? Yeah, well, I'm not on VATSIM, so I'm good on that. Alright, cool. Thank you so much once again for the support, guys. Thank you very, very much. And stay tuned for more content. And I'll see you again very, very soon. Stay safe. Try to get out of the way from COVID. It's not such a nice experience, I have to say. All right, guys. Good night. MID moderators, big, big, big thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Take care, everyone.